Well, good evening, this is Houndog Steve, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and just going to do a quick update on the trucker situation, but before I do, just remember that all of these videos that I am doing here on YouTube are also being reposted to Rumble, and when I get around to it, Bitchute. The links are below in the description box. But you know, I'm getting reports that people are not, the comments aren't being posted on my videos, links aren't being posted on my videos, so YouTube's algorithm is obviously messing around again. So I think all of us creators are getting ready to exit the platform. So what's going on in Ottawa? Okay, so the OPP has stepped in and they started seizing gasoline and propane from the protesters, which is kind of strange because if they want them to move, they can't move without diesel. So that probably isn't going to work out too well for them. I've also heard that the RCMP are sending down a team of basically crowd busters, about 100 to 200 uniformed officers, especially prepared to break up this protest. So that's a little disappointing. I'm hoping that sounder minds will prevail and that they will stand down on that the men will refuse to go in, realizing that these are your own people, these are your own citizens, this is the general public that you will be attacking. Okay, the fundraising program has been set up on Give Send Go, and that is running rather well. It's a bit slow because there's been so much money and so many people donate to this platform and this cause. So it is growing, it is getting bigger. But what I wanted to say to you is, for any of you doubters out there, any of you who may have been hesitant to support the truckers' convoy or this kind of protest, just look at the response. This is called the jackboot on the neck response. No negotiation, no recognition that these people might have legitimate claims and that they represent a large portion of the Canadian public, more than they would allow you to believe. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you that it doesn't matter whether it is now, after your 4th booster, your 6th booster, or that you're upset that your passport has gone from green to red because Pfizer has missed a quarterly projection, and guess what? They need another vax. And so the government will just mandate another booster so Pfizer can meet its quarterly expectations for the shareholders. Okay, so it doesn't matter when you decide enough is enough. This was always going to be the response. And this is why several great people, Jordan Peterson, certainly for one, has said it's always better to speak up sooner rather than later. Because by the time you get to your 8th booster, you will be so worn down, our economy will be so busted, your resources will be so dwindled, you won't have the strength or the power to get a protest going at all. Okay, so just remember that. If you're hesitant, just remember, this was always going to be the response. No negotiation, no discussion, our way or the highway, because this is the way dictators, totalitarian governments work. This is the sort of thing that you would expect to see from Saddam Hussein. Oh, I was elected in with 100% of the popular vote. Yeah. Everyone's scared not to vote for Saddam Hussein, because off to the dungeon with you if you're a protester or you don't like what's going on. And that's where we are, folks. In fact, in parts of me is pleased that the government is responding this way, because all of you can now see how quickly and how hard the jackboot can come down on the neck of the public. And it won't matter what the narrative is. It won't be just COVID. Oh, no. This will be anything. Any complaint you have about anything, misspending, misappropriation, misbehavior, it doesn't matter. This will always be the response of this government, and this should tell you how much your government has changed in the last 2 years. Although this has been going on for a long time, decades. Around about 1972, when the whole, the real globalist dictatorship, the EU, basically started to take shape and really come into line, because you know, they were starting to control so many parts of our society, especially the media, education, this kind of stuff. And as Klaus Schwab said, I'm going to include this actually, this little clip in here. Klaus Schwab said, we have penetrated every cabinet in the world with globalists.
And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with the president, who is a young global leader, but what is important for me?
So there you go. Anyway, remember that. So take heart that you haven't provoked anything out of the ordinary. This was always going to be the response of this government, this authoritarian, totalitarian, globalist, technocratic government. The other important thing that makes this situation so tenuous is both sides have become entrenched, both sides have everything to win and everything to lose. I think that the truckers and the protesters realize that if this government wins this battle by force, it will send such a powerful message to anybody else who tries to organize and protest that it just won't happen. It will basically quash all future dissent, and Trudeau knows that. This government knows that. The military knows that that will be the outcome. And of course, you know, if the government loses, well, you know, it's bye-bye Trudeau. Okay, the whole globalist wet dream is going to come apart, and that will be basically, well, I don't think it'll be the end of it. They will try again, but from a much weaker position, because we now know who they are, and what their goal is. They have completely exposed themselves. So you can expect some very intense situations to come until this is resolved. Like I say, both parties have a lot on the line here, and there'll be plenty of motivation to hold the line on both sides. So don't be surprised. And although I did hear, there is a piece of good news in this, I did hear that there was a negotiator had been sent to see the truckers leader, the leader of the truckers convoy, and I'm hoping that they got my message, that we need new elections, we need proportional representation, and we need the right of recall. That's your absolute base. And of course all mandates gone. You know, this is beyond a joke. It's scientifically provable that the vaccines don't work, that the boosters don't work, that the majority of cases are devaccinated, and that if you're vaccinated you can still get COVID, Omicron, Delta, doesn't matter. So it's all a joke, it's a charade, it's over, it's done, we're finished. Please, politicians, wake up. Anyway, if we dissolve Parliament, they all have to step down. That's how you dissolve government. And make these people explain. Make them stand up on a pedestal and explain why they didn't speak up for the last 700 days. Yeah, they're going to have a tough time answering that one. And, you know, you will have to accept the inexperience of new faces coming onto the scene who are maybe inexperienced but honest and eager to see real change take place within our government. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.